For decades, the people of Ambazonia and Biafra have suffered under oppressive regimes that refuse to acknowledge their right to self-determination. But now, a new dawn is on the horizon, a historic alliance that could reshape the Gulf of Guinea and challenge the very foundations of Nigeria and Cameroon. Two fearless leaders, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba of Ambazonia and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of Biafra, have emerged as symbols of resistance, leading their people towards a common destiny. Together, they are forging a path to freedom, one that, if successful, could bring economic and political transformation to West Africa. Ambazonia, the English-speaking region of Cameroon, has been locked in a bloody war since 2017. What began as peaceful protests against marginalization soon turned into an armed struggle after the Biya regime unleashed a brutal crackdown. Over 2,000 people have been killed, 530,000 displaced, and entire villages burned to the ground. Biafra, on the other hand, has a longer and bloodier history. The Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970 saw over 1 million Biafrans perish, primarily due to starvation, as the Nigerian government blockaded the region. The dream of an independent Biafra has never died, and under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has reignited the movement for secession. Now these two struggles are converging. Facing immense pressure from the Nigerian and Cameroonian militaries, IPOB and the Ambazonian Defense Forces, ADF, have come to a critical realization. Alone, they can be crushed. Together, they are a force to be reckoned with. Their alliance is not just about war, it's about survival. By sharing resources, intelligence, and combat strategies, these two movements are laying the groundwork for a new power in the Gulf of Guinea. The strategic significance of this alliance cannot be overstated. The Gulf of Guinea is one of the most resource-rich regions in Africa. Nigeria's oil wealth comes from the Niger Delta, future Biafran territory. Meanwhile, Cameroon's industrial base, including its only refinery, is located in Ambazonia. Imagine if the people of these regions controlled their own resources. Instead of wealth being siphoned off to corrupt regimes in Yaoundé and Abuja, it would be used to build schools, hospitals, and infrastructure for Ambazonians and Biafrans. This is what independence could mean. The Nigerian and Cameroonian governments know what's at stake. They understand that if Ambazonia and Biafra succeed, their regimes will crumble. That's why they're desperately trying to suppress these movements through military force, propaganda, and international pressure. But their hands are already full. Boko Haram and ISWAP are wreaking havoc in northern Nigeria. Armed militias are spreading terror in the Middle Belt. In Cameroon, Paul Biya's forces are stretched thin, battling both the Ambazonian resistance and internal dissent. If the Ambazonian Biafran alliance gains momentum, it could trigger a major shift in West Africa's geopolitical landscape. ECOWAS, the African Union, and even global superpowers will have no choice but to take notice. Will the world continue to ignore these movements, or will they finally acknowledge the legitimate aspirations of the Ambazonian and Biafran people? This is more than a fight for independence. It's a fight for dignity, justice, and the right to self-determination. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are not just leading political movements. They are leading revolutions that could change the fate of millions. If Ambazonia and Biafra succeed in uniting, they won't just break free from colonial-era borders forced upon them. They will set an example for oppressed peoples across Africa. But the road ahead is not easy. It will take sacrifice, unity, and unwavering determination. The people of Ambazonia and Biafra must rise above their differences, stand together, and demand their rightful place on the world stage. The world may not be ready for what's coming, but history is being written, and a new power is rising in West Africa. The question is, will you stand with them?